Good afternoon. Welcome to the channel. Shatika Hustle here, CEO of Hustle Financial Solutions, where we help you retire before you expire. So if that is you, we're the ones you hire. Our goal is to get your bank account on fire with a whole lot of lifetime tax-free retirement income that you will not outlive. I'm excited to be back, but I'll be back just a brief moment because I'm not going to be long. I'm just going to be strong. I just want to talk about these couple topics. I know it is Monday afternoon, and normally it's a real light day for me that I schedule, and it was raining, so of course I had to take a quick nap, and here I am. So awesome. Hopefully, if you have any questions about this, you can go ahead and start dropping your comments, your questions in the chat, so I can make sure that I answer them because I will not be here as long as I have been. I do have an appointment soon. So definitely, let's jump right into it. So I know one of the things that people often hear about is, the permanent policies and the term policies, but what they don't know about is, or maybe they don't understand, is the GUL or the final expense. Oftentimes when you hear people talk about, I can guarantee no matter what your, health situation is, you'll be able to have a policy. They often talking about a GUL, but what you probably don't understand about a GUL is that while it's guaranteed, the first 2 years, if something happens, generally speaking, of course, as a broker, I talk to different carriers, and generally speaking, the first 2 years, they're not going to pay any type of death benefit. They'll pay you pretty much the premiums plus 10% or whatever's inside that contract. So you definitely want to take a good close look at that because yes, it's guaranteed, but for the first 2 years, there is no death benefit, generally speaking, right? So as a broker, there's different carriers. All carriers are not created equal. All of them are not the same. Definitely do your due diligence as it relates to the carrier that you decided you want to use. So let's talk about the features of the GUL. So basically, you want to have a premium and death benefit guaranteed to a certain age or a certain year. All right. So little to no cash accumulation, of course. And of course, there is something that you have to understand is that these are not as flexible as an IUL. We often talk about the flexibility of an IUL. Some offer the return of premiums, some don't, right? So just take a look at that. Make sure that you understand the contract that you're in if you have a GUL. So while it sometimes may seem too true, sometimes it may be because you may not necessarily have the offer of the return of premiums. Of course, there is no participating market or index strategy used for this. They are more expensive, generally speaking, than term insurance. So that's why there is a guarantee, because it's going to be more expensive than term, because there is no, medical that's required. It's just a guaranteed, a policy for that individual. The ideal client is, it's whoever needs it, right? If they have some type of medical challenge, possibly. It's a variety of household incomes that you can, take a look at. Doesn't really determine this, of course. And there is no exposure again to the market. So it really is about, do you want to have a medical exam or not? That's really what it boils down to. If you want guaranteed, then you're not going to have a medical exam. Really, really simple. So you go ahead and pay your premiums. But again, they're going to be higher because you didn't have to pay an exam, right? But you're not going to get anything back, generally speaking. But with a good carrier, the carriers that we deal with, they're not going to pay you anything in the first 2 years because they're going to pay the premiums plus 10%. And that's pretty much what it's going to be. So ask that question whenever you have some type of guaranteed universal life policy, because that is the catch. that is what they call the fine print, if you will. Most younger people don't want to participate in this type of policy. They want something that's going to give them a return on premium. They'll go ahead and take the exam and things of that nature. So definitely take a look at that. Now, final expense is simply that when someone that's been in this industry longer than me, way longer, mentioned, I remember them saying that generally speaking, that a couple paying $10,000, I should say, paying for a $10,000 final expense ends up paying $40,000 over their lifetime, right? I never got a chance to fact check that, but it makes sense. It's super expensive, right? So it really is just paying for your final expense, your funeral arrangement. But $10,000 is not a lot, especially today. And generally speaking, if you pay for, your burial before you pass away, it's actually going to be 50% less. People don't understand that either. But like what could be 30,000 or 20-something thousand could probably be about 10,000 if you pay for it all out of cash, out of pocket up front if you negotiated that before you even expired. So, but final expense, most people cannot afford, or maybe not necessarily have the health to get just general, regular life insurance as in a term or a permanent policy. So they end up getting some type of final expense because of one of the two things. It's less expensive, and it's just going to pay for their burial. And so it helps fit most people's budget. So at least they don't have a GoFundMe. It is one step above GoFundMe, basically, right? When it comes to a life insurance product. So it is definitely sort of like, a GUL in the sense that it's going to give you the coverage that you need for simply burial expenses only, right? So that's a little bit different, where it's not necessarily going to require you to have to, and generally speaking, it's not going to require you to have any type of exam as well. But some do. So just depending on the carrier, making sure you understand that. So final expense, again, only pays for your final expense. It is a very small policy, like 25,000, just depending, on the carrier again, will determine with the final expense. Now, I normally, my clients, I have never, I'll just be honest and full disclosure. So far, I have tried with one person, but that was it. All the clients that I've actually dealt with have all done IULs. So while I could speak to final expense, I will just say that it is really simply put, it is only going to really cover your final burial expenses, and that is it. And you could possibly even say that in your lifetime if you wanted to do that, and not necessarily even have to have that type of policy because of how expensive it is, paying pretty much 4 times the amount of that premium over your lifetime, when you could probably pay that right out of your pocket, right? So that's something to really understand when it comes to final expense. I want to see if there's any questions. So I'm going to take a look, see if there's any questions. So I want to make sure we answer those. And not seeing any. Thank you for the heart over here. And thank you guys over here on Instagram as well. So I want you guys to know that I am going live this week to talk about, and I got to run. I'm going to be talking about annuities, right? So I want to make sure that you DM me or message me on what questions you have on annuities. I make sure I cover that in the live, and you can catch the replay on YouTube, right? So you can catch the replay on YouTube. There won't be any replays anywhere else. But definitely on YouTube going forward. So definitely wanted to do that. Generally, I try to get on about 3 p.m. ish, and I'm gonna say try because things happen all the time, and I never want to overcommit and over promise and under deliver. But my goal, I'll say, is to get on at 3 p.m. On Wednesdays through Friday, and Mondays and Tuesdays are kind of flexible. So kind of just to try to give you some type of schedule, but it's a goal, right? So it's a goal because I am definitely not perfect when it comes to going live. But my goal is to go live, throughout the week with different topics on around 3 p.m. And so if you click the notification bell on YouTube, you'll be able to catch it. And if you don't catch me other places, you can probably catch the replay on YouTube. All right. So thank you guys for joining in. I'm going to go ahead and log off of YouTube and see if there's any questions over here on Instagram. And I'm definitely going to log off on LinkedIn as well. God bless. Have an amazing day. Definitely go ahead and download your retirement planning guide for free. Get started, get in action, take action. So let me just say that really quickly. Yeah. So while I am off today, for the most part, definitely am available on Mondays going forward in September to try to take more clients in September to help more people to achieve their goals. I'll tell you one thing: you can flip, so to speak, right? You can really flip your money in an annuity, and it is one of the best kept secrets I know in the African American community, because we don't really talk a lot about annuities, and you have to have, in a lot of cases, a special license to do annuities. But gracefully, I am definitely able to help you with that. So if you have 10 years in general to be able to put away some money and let it grow exponentially, definitely go ahead and book your consult, because it's like, somebody's calling in over here. Sorry. But either way, go ahead and book your consult for an annuity, because it's about to be booked out when you start seeing these numbers and hearing these numbers, because I tell you, you literally can flip your money like, no, let me tell you, putting in guarantees, right? So there's no other place you can go for a guaranteed participation rate. and taking away 100% of the risk. Where else can you go to get that but an annuity? So it is one of the best kept secrets, right? So especially if you cannot get qualified for a life insurance product, you probably want to look at an annuity next, which is done by carriers, right? So carriers manage annuities as well, because again, they know how to do money. That's why banks go to them. That's why there's something called bowling. That's why there's something called COLI, bank-owned life insurance and corporate-owned life insurance. How do you think they become a trillion-dollar business or $1 billion business? Because they have a lot of their money tied up in all types of carrier products, right? So definitely want to be able to speak to that. Thank you, Candace, over here saying informative. Thank you. Blessings. So excellent. Okay, I want to see if there's any questions before I hop off. All right. Thank you guys for the hearts over here. I appreciate it. Thank you for the shares. So more people can get this information, because our community needs this information. This is not about me. This is about education. I'm not trying to sell you. I'm just trying to educate you. And then, it's up to you if you want to take action. It really is, because, clients are happy. Like I said, I have 100% retention rate. My goal really is to get people's bank account on fire. Yeah, you can get that IUL for your needs all day long. Alvin over here on Instagram, you sure can. Definitely, people are doing it all day. The rich uncles and the rich aunties and the mothers and godmothers, all of them are doing this all day long for, different people, different ones. You have to have, of course, they say, insurable interest. So you got to, be able to prove that in most cases. But let's say if something happens to your brother, sister, then you have to take on the niece. So you have an insurable interest, right? So yeah, good question over here. Let me see if there's any other questions that I missed over here before I hop off. Awesome. All right. So guys and gals, I'll see you tomorrow around 3 p.m. Go ahead and click the bell. Make sure that you know when I'm going live. It'll be a different topic. I want to talk more about who the ideal client is for these different types of policies a little bit more. And then Wednesday, we're going to jump right into annuity. So really go ahead and start. Thank you, David, saying good info. Go ahead and send the questions that you have, so I can be very thorough and comprehensive in what it is that I share. Of course, I'm going to give you the basics, but I want to hear what your deep dive questions are about annuities. When I say annuities, I'm talking about a fixed index. Everybody say index. Turn to your neighbor to the left and to the right and say index. Because that's what we're talking about, a fixed index annuity, meaning that you can participate in the market when the market goes up, but not when the market goes down. So if you have any type of employer plan, they are giving bonuses away for rolling those into an annuity, anywhere between 7 and 10% on your money. You get to access 10% of those funds, even though you have a surrender charge for 10 years. You can access your money at the age of 50 or older, unlike other types of employer plans, and be able to access that money at the age of 50, 10% penalty-free withdrawals, depending on what state. New York, they're not friendly with you guys. They're just not friendly with New York. But all other states, a 10% penalty-free withdrawal is what we're looking at. Thank you, Nathaniel. Okay. Yes, I know. You said I'm preaching, saying turn to my neighbor. How do you show insurable interest for someone owing on a loan? Insurable interest. I need to understand exactly what you're asking. Yeah, because I mean, if you have a lien, yeah, I'm not sure what your question is. I guess I need to understand a little bit more, Candace. But thank you for asking the question. I apologize. I'll think on it more and I'll get back to you. Trying to understand what your question is. All right. Any other questions? Any other questions before I get off? Thank you for joining in. I appreciate it. You guys have an incredible Winning in Wealth Monday. Thank God it is Monday. I'm going to be out. Again, my name is Shatika Hustler, CEO of Hustler Financial Solutions, where we help you retire before you expire. So if that is your desire, we're going to get your bank account on fire with a whole lot of lifetime tax-free retirement income that you will not outlive. God bless you. Have an incredible day. I'll see you at the top, because you